Okay, so this game had a really weird backstory back when it came out, and the backstory has only gotten stranger with the version that we're now playing, so I'm just gonna try to catch people up, just because it's kind of fun to talk about how weird this game's existence is. So, MLB pitcher Curt Schilling, whose jersey number was 38, founded a company called 38 Studios, which with a Rhode Island grant was able to put out Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. And their goal was to, the reason why this game's got a subtitle and everything is because it was supposed to be the prequel to an upcoming MMORPG, but then the game failed to sell all that much. Rhode Island's support was rescinded, and the company declared bankruptcy shortly after the release of the game. So that's the already strange backstory to the beginning of this. Go forward just like a year later, and things get in motion for its revival because Baldur's Gate was then given to Beamdog in order to make the HD enhanced edition things for the both 1 and 2, which very strangely led to the outcome where in 2016 there was Siege of Dragonspear, a new expansion made for an old game by a different studio for the HD version port of that game. So here we've like broken what I feel like is new ground, which is somebody making an HD version of a game and then treating that new version of said game as like fertile soil with which to make new content and just act like it's a new game that came out as opposed to a thing that's like sealed in amber and you're just kind of like porting over again. This was weird, but I thought it was just going to be a one-off thing and a curiosity, but now it's a trend. Because Two Worlds 2, a game, this is the weirdest part of the story in some ways, I thought nobody liked this game anywhere. I thought this was a universally panned, poorly sold game that would have been forgotten immediately. I remember trying it and not liking it very much either, but I don't remember much about it. Two Worlds 2 has bizarrely gone on to have an HD engine upgrade and then 2 expansions in 2017 and 2019 despite being out since 2010, and I don't know what's happening there. And somewhere along this whole quest, THQ Nordic, which is not to be confused with THQ, their ears perked up, and what they did is they bought Titan Quest, another game from quite a long time ago that I remember playing. I feel like I played it in like high school or something. They bought it up, and they decided to put out an expansion pack for an over 10-year-old game called Immortal. They put out Titan Quest Ragnarok. So Titan Quest is still around somehow, and that's the most relevant part to this story because Kingdoms of Amalur was also purchased by THQ Nordic, and so they put out a remaster of the game, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, which is an absurd title, and I can't believe they actually kept it. And now here we are, almost a decade after it originally came out, having a new expansion for just an old-ass RPG. I mean, not as old as Baldur's Gate, but this is just a trend now. This is just a thing we can just deal with happening. And I mean, honestly, as an RPG fan, having most of the AAA sphere be so unwilling to actually touch the genre, if this is how I can get more content, is fucking reviving old games and then fucking bolting new expansions onto them, I mean, I guess I'll take it if it's any good. But anyway, that's how we got here. Kingdoms of Amalur itself was a weird product. Like, it's written by R.A. Salvatore, and its art's by freaking Todd McFarlane, and its score is by Grant Kirkhope. Like, I don't understand how this game exists, but we're gonna get a lot closer and familiar with it right about now. Oh yeah, and thank you to whoever is involved for providing me with an advance copy and code of this game. Just doing the usual obvious, what do you call it? Declaration that I did not pay for this and whatnot. Boy, I don't care. It's supposed to be like this thing where it's like, it's gonna completely hide helm honor. I will see if I like what I look like first. Subtitles on. Yep, I like to make everything quieter than the dialogue by a bit, because that usually pays off. Oops. It's usually a good idea. And that's all of our... Okay, that's a graphic setting. I thought that other one was our graphic settings for a second there. I'll just trust y'all. I think we're all set to go unless B was cancel. Was B cancel? No, okay. Alright, let's go.
From the beginning, we were wrong, and only now, well into the second decade of the conflict, have we begun to understand the mistakes we have made. We lived in harmony among the Fae, in a world awakened to new magic. Perhaps we should have foreseen what might be born on this rising tide. What force might awaken. A force powerful enough to twist even the eternal and immutable Fae folk. But Gadflow, the new king of the Winter Court, surprised us all. Singular among his people, he was all that other Fae were not. Aggressive, ambitious, visionary. He had power like none we had ever seen. Terrible and deadly. Gadflow and his followers, the Tuatha believed that a new god was to be born in the east, beneath Gadflow's crystalline fortress of Almain. In the name of that god, they marched to war against the young races of Amalur. Against a mortal army, no matter the power of their god, we might have been victorious. But the Fae are creatures of magic, not bound by the laws of life and death. Each Tuatha fallen on the battlefield would soon rise again, for the Fae do not know death as we do. How could we stand against such a force? For 10 years the war raged. For 10 years the armies of Men and Alpha fought and died. But as our numbers dwindled, we knew that it was only a matter of time. Our fate had been written. At least, that is what we believed. Until you died.
That's what I want. A nice triumphant sound over my corpse when I die. play that song.
What do you think this one is then? Alpha? Ballard? Could even be a Jotun. Always a surprise, eh, Gran?
Eyes on the job, boy. Don't matter what it is. Dead's dead. And be thankful for that. All we've seen. Go on and pull back the sheet, though. It'll need to be in our report, one way or the other.
Definitely an element that reminds you a bit of Fable at the time, due to the stylized visuals and the sort of like, I don't know. There's like a certain, like it's kind of taking itself seriously and it's kind of grimdark, but something about it's weirdly funny and it's not always sure. You're not always 100% sure if they mean it to be that way or not. But there's something that immediately calls back to that anyway. The Almain are a warlike and religious nation of a storied origin. Many Almain come to the Faelands seeking freedom, while honoring the traditions of their homeland. Hardened by the high seas, the Varani are just as frequently pirates and mercenaries as they are shrewd merchants. They favor swords and daggers as seaworthy weapons. The Yosofar are a proud and ancient people from the frozen lands of the north. Yosofar judge themselves fit to divine right from wrong under wind. Oh, divine. Okay. They're not fit to a divine right. They're fit to divine as a verb, right from wrong, under wind, sun, and sky, and mete out an even-handed justice. Dokalfar are renowned as sophisticated students of magic and diplomacy. While they do not shy from conflict, they prefer to resolve disputes subtly and with grace, or efficiently in silence. So we have 2 elves and 2 humans, it looks like. Persuasion, stealth, and sagecraft. Dispelling, alchemy, and sagecraft. Lockpicking, detect, hidden, and mercantile. Persuasion, alchemy, and blacksmithing. Maybe go a little spellcasty. Okay. That's sure armor. I wasn't quite ready for that because I did go back and forth a little bit earlier. I'm like, okay, they're just like that, they're just like that, they're just like, what? Nothing prepared. I guess he is showing skin too, but it's just like, holy. Okay, why not? Let's give it a go. Let's be the mage elves, Dokulfar. So, you got Athene, god of wisdom and art, 10% mana. Aurelia, goddess of love and beauty, 5% health, 1% crit. Balin, god of death, 1% crit, 8% critical damage. Lyria, goddess of fate, magic, and luck, 5% mana and mana regen. Lupoku, god of mischief, patron of brewing, poison damage and resist. And beholden to no god, your self-sufficiency yields its own rewards, a tiny experience bonus. That means if you level 100 times, you would be level 101 instead. Wow. I'm pretty sure the new expansion said it raised the level cap to 50, so a 1% experience bonus is basically just throwing your character in the garbage, and that unless you're really committed to not being beholden to any god as a role-playing choice. That's the only reason you'd pick that as far as I can tell. Otherwise, it just seems like an incredibly bad idea. See, mana regen is tempting. It just seems like a decent idea in general. Like, having a big pool is nice, but having to have that pool come back is a lot nicer, you know? So Lyria, goddess of fate, magic, and luck. These are all presets. Do we start with the preset, then go for there? Yep. I was wondering how in-depth this was going to get. There's a few variants in color. It's not entirely a black to white, like grayscale gradient. I wasn't sure where they'd go with that. Is there purple eyes? Those are red. I don't think I see purple anywhere. Eyeshadow. That's really subtle. Stubble color, stubble intensity. I don't think we're gonna go without. What do we have for hair? Just have the mohawk. The back knot. Split. Side. A lot of side. I can feel the mohawk a bit. Although the lines are a little weird looking along the way. I use my hair to express myself. That sounds really dumb. Hair to express myself. I'm fine with white. Alright, well first of all, I'll check the color match before I go with this. Also, maybe the eyebrows? Or does that look weird when it matches? Maybe not. Just wasn't ready for the severity of that mustache. Big on mutton chops and things. He's a bit severe. Jewelry. That's the... We got these earrings here. Eye rings, or brow rings, I guess. They do wander all over the place. They didn't really sort them with related ones, like put the 2 eyebrow ones consecutively. Would have been kind of nice. You can do away with the tattoo entirely, or do a number of other options. They keep wandering to the other side, and then I gotta go chase it for a moment, just to make sure I found it. I thought I saw one I liked, and now I can't find it again. Maybe that one? Intensity, so you can make it really glow. Or you can make it a whole lot more subtle. Alright, and we're looped back around the face, so that's... I think that's going to be our character this time around. Let's go ahead and hop in.
He's a Docklefar. No surprise there. Seen a lot of them. Though not usually in this good a shape. Alright,
thanks, I work out.
Make sure it goes into the report. You know he'll want all the details.
Amazing how well the body held up. Better than I've seen.
I'm just glad it's not moving. Must have been born under a lucky star, this one.
Anything else we need?
Unless you'd like to name him, I think we're done. Put him with the others.
Unless you'd like to name him. Alright, well, fine. Jax. They're being cheeky.
Well, that's it for you then. Better luck next time.
Wakes up with both legs just snapped in two. How'd they get on top of you? I guess maybe it took a while to wake up. Like a long time. That's a nasty intro. These visuals are holding up pretty nicely. There's like just enough stylization and color and contrast here. I like how not muddy this is. Like, look at what we're looking at right now. There's a lot of modern games I play that would like technically look better, supposedly, but like if I just wanted to get a clean look at my own character, they're like, it's like a brownish smear mixing in with another brownish environment. Like we're not dealing with like Gears of War anymore levels of like hating color and so on, but there's a certain like lack of attention to like art direction with like this kind of thing where you have like the background has the misty effect the further it gets, and there's like contrast so you can see your character clearly and other stuff like that. It's just things I appreciate. I'm playing with the controller until I find any reason that I shouldn't be, but generally speaking, this whole generation of like AAA third-person action RPGs were usually made for controllers more often than not, and they usually feel right at home usually. There's a severe screen spin. It starts off really slow and then it aggressively starts accelerating. Let's maybe check for that. Is there a camera smoothing? Camera height? Ooh, I can like really slow progress. I think I can make my character not so close to the camera. Enemy focus is good. Auto follow on, camera smoothing. Maybe turn that off, especially since I'm using a controller, where it's basically pointless. Let's leave that there for now. Let's see if that helps. Whoa! Look at that control we have. We can zoom way the hell out. Still pretty sensitive of a camera. It's because like the setting is sensitivity, but the thing happening is the fact that it starts slow, then accelerates, and that's like it goes from too slow to too fast. That said, I may have overcorrected a little bit. It's good to see that you can get away with that kind of stuff. There you go, a bit more comfy. That was kind of turning really small on that screen. I appreciate the kind of control. Wow, that was rude of me. I just interfered with somebody else's job. Take, compare, add to. So there's no auto equip from pick up screen thing. There you go. 7 physical, 2 piercing. Anything about here? Experiment disposal. Secrecy is still important in our work, requiring specialized disposal of our unfortunate failures. Piling remains have become a concern to the lower caverns, so an incinerator has been added to deal with the wastes. This should make disposal work slightly less horrible, although you should avoid drinking water from downstream of the ash dumps. Hardly a fitting rest for the poor things, but if it's any consolation, these weren't their original bodies in the first place. From Morris Hughes. These were not their original bodies in the first place. We're setting something up. Why is this skeleton loaded? How is that all this? He doesn't have clothes anymore, let alone flesh, but he's got 13 gold. Where was he keeping it? There's not a lot of hiding places left once all the flesh is gone.
They're all over. Run!
Well, you're in trouble.
Scatter, children of dust! Scatter before the might of the Tuatha!
Y'all are not committing very well to the run that she said earlier. Everyone's just kind of standing. Guys, keep running! You had a clear goal. What are you doing? Oh. Giant rats. I don't believe they exist. Whoa, I went from chip damage to kill. Am I nuts? That's nuts. It looks like it did. I look like it did like no damage. Then I killed them with a second strike.
Stay away!
Are the damage values that weird? I wonder what's going on there. Is the second strong swing way stronger? I'll just pay more attention to the scrolling numbers. Or is the health bar just kind of a little weird?
No child of dust shall escape.
I also like to fill barrels with tiny amounts of gold, and then nothing else. And strew them about. Just to see who comes by looking.
You! Up there, please help me! Please! More mortal scum? No matter.
Can I lock on?
All die.
Dodge, press B. Trying to establish whether or not there's a lock on. It's a big chunky experience interface. Holy crap. I would like to wear the clothes of the recently slain. How did you know?
Thank you. Thank you. If you hadn't come along, wait. I've seen you before. On the slab. You were dead. It worked. By the tome, it worked. You're alive.
What happened to me?
You died. I don't know how or even where. But your body was remade in the Well of Souls, and somehow it worked. The well restored your soul to your body, and it worked. We must get you to Professor Hughes right away. He'll have questions for you.
Who are these attackers?
Oh my, you don't know? Oh, perhaps the process damaged your memory. They are the Tuatha Daon, the enemies of all the young races. We've never seen them this far inland, not even during the invasion. I don't know why they are here. Hughes may have the answer to that as well. You must stay alive and reach him!
Who is Hughes?
Professor Formorous Hughes. The Well of Souls is his life's work. The Tuatha are coming into the lower levels. If we hurry, we should be able to beat them to the top. Take these. They'll help keep you safe long enough to get to Hughes. Now, let's get going!
Oh, wow. Just we just suddenly have a different dialogue interface. That's weird. Why? Huh. Okay. That's a choice. It's interesting seeing how big some of the interface elements are. Like, that was just the change in design philosophies over time. But, I will say, even compared to, like, the BioWare games, this is somewhat aping. Like, having the radial wheel for selecting dialogue specifically is, like, very... This came out after Mass Effect for sure, sort of situation. It's real chunky. Look how big and chunky this interface is. I kind of wonder if you can scale it a little bit, because the letterboxing's pretty aggressive. The Well of Souls.
The Well of Souls is just ahead. You'll see. And it works. It restored you to life. There will be plenty of time to explain later. We've got to get going.
Where is Hughes?
He'll be in his study on the ground floor of the tower. At least, I hope he's there. And safe.
Attackers?
Oh my. You don't know?
Nope.
We've never
Nope.
seen them
It's
this
the
far.
same.
Let me get this door, and we can be on our way.
And then he just explodes or something.
This way. You go first.
He's doing okay for now. Oftentimes the people that there's a lot of games where someone's like, here, I'll open the door. Ah! And they just like explode. Like, well, back to being alone. I got a little bit of armor. Armless armor. Not a bad look already for low-level armor. Our character looks kind of neat. Hang on a minute. That's not how anything works. Everything is clipping through something. That's not how... No element of what I'm looking at is how gears work. Everything's clipping through everything else. Oh well. I'm always rewarded for breaking everything. You enable me by encouraging my worst habits. Oh god. It's all of this? So I opened the door so that we could go find the who would help, and he started systematically destroying every crate for 30 minutes straight. I don't think the coma was kind to him.
This is what they're after. Our greatest invention. The Well of Souls. Imagine an end to war. An end to death.
Optimistic to say that the latter would be the former. Optimistic indeed. I'm about to be stuck in one of those, like, Pillars of Eternity soul winds, aren't I? This can't be good for me. But did you have, like, a least favorite coworker?
We're in one of the storerooms. See if you can find anything useful.
I'm way ahead of your game. Hey buddy, I don't know if you played a video game before, but did you know you could break things sometimes? Just a thing you might want to try out, no reason. Oh yeah. No, I'm astutely aware. And thank you for not frustrating me by not doing it. Is this where you pick what character you're going to be or something? Because we have not picked... We picked some stat bonuses via our character creation, but we are not a class, necessarily. If that is at all applicable.
Grab a shield. There must be one nearby. Move! Move!
Time to revisit our stuff. Okay, so we got gloves now. And shield. So shield is under armor, not weapons. It's a bit of a toss-up which one you get usually. Critical hit damage versus more defense and block efficiency. These boots are just a different category of equipment than everything else. A bit much having to do the whole thing in one list. It'd be nice if you were tabbing between all your different slots instead of all of them being in one big list like this.
Wait, do you hear something?
Come at me, bro. Do I put my shield away every time I block?
More Tuatha!
That was lasery sounding. Yeah, that last chunk of health goes away faster. There's like a quirk to the health bar, isn't there?
You need more than just that sword. That one had a bow. Get it?
Might just be an illusion of the fact that it's a weird, it shrinks from the outside to the inside. That might be how it happened. Either way, secondary. A crude birch longbow. This bow loves to swear. How do I use it? The radio menu adds consumables. Press X from your inventory. Okay. I have a healing item. That's it. How do I... It's Y. A face button. So you don't... That's interesting. There might be more fabled DNA after all here with it. Bring a... how swiftly you switch between them. Like, there's no aiming mode you activate by pulling a trigger or anything. You just press the bow button and the melee button interchangeably.
Archers up ahead. Best shoot them before they see us.
Fable had their own particularly strange system. Oh, there goes them. That was a real quick death.
Go, go!
Shoot them before they see us. I think they were shooting me already. Yeah, at least in the first game, I think you had bow, melee, and magic, and whenever you attacked and killed with one of those elements, then you got experience of that kind. So the more melee you did, the more melee strength, the more melee experience you got for your melee skill trees and melee skills. It's a real particular kind of setup. Yeah, you don't aim these attacks. You just kind of decide that you want to kill somebody, and then you kill them with. Apparently effortlessly, unless these people unless these people are weaker than all the people I fought with the sword earlier. I think that game had its own particular system where it did try to encourage you to cross-specialize and experiment a bit, because I think it rewarded you with like 50% specialized experience and 50% neutral experience that you could spend anywhere. There was a few things interesting about that game first time around. Its sequels were maybe... There was a lot of flaws too, and the sequels maybe had more flaws than innovations.
Their speed more than makes up for their size.
I did kind of just appreciate that they were just doing generally different things. That has its own value. And now the bottom half of me is made of metal. We'll see how applicable catching people unawares is. I clicked on the wrong thing, apparently. This is your quest log. Whoops. Alright, we're almost all metal now. We replaced those pretty quickly. Is there a weight to worry about? Or is that gear just only useful for 5 minutes?
More up ahead.
Nope, A is run.
You can sneak up on them with your daggers. You should be able to finish them quickly and quietly.
Or you could shoot them with the bow we already introduced. Whoops, we probably should have done this in a different order. It would be so much easier just to shoot it with a bow that it's kind of a bad case for explaining why you'd want to use a dagger in the first place. That is funny. They definitely should have done sword, then bow. Sword, then dagger, then bow. Is there an Assassin's Creed double takedown? This game came out around that time.
Look at the mortal vermin.
The answer is no. Haha! Stupid mortal vermin! Anyway. Hey Cameron, you wanna help me out here? Alright, it's cool, I don't wanna look at the guy I'm fighting. Where's it going? It's trying to show the set piece over there, but I'm trying to fight. I wonder if it would have been more applicable if I had attacked them in the other order. This time around they didn't just die in one hit, so the bow doesn't just always do that. Although maybe I didn't hold it long enough.
Cave blossoms only respond in the presence of magic. Perhaps there is more to you than it seems.
Oof.
What are you?
Is it that one sound? Yep. That one sound that's like featured in like Halo and Star Fox Adventures, and it gets around. It's a prolific stock sound. Pick up spider memo regarding the spiders. Hughes, per your request, we've finally got the spider problem under control. Cloud will try to take care for an efficient cleansing with his Praetorians, but I feel he overstates his case and fails to recognize the value that my own quick thinking and scholarly work provided to the successful operation. While overseeing the spider purge, I noticed that those guards who were affected by spider venom exhibited stiffness of joints and tightening of skin, symptoms which suggest a possible solution for the internal cohesion problems of some of the well's creations. I would have studied these symptoms in more depth at the time, but the guards willfully and flagrantly disobeyed my orders and to delay application of antitoxins. As such, I request that we capture some of these spiders in order to harvest their venom for future testing. Furthermore, I trust that these insubordinate guards be punished immediately. For my steadfast pursuit of knowledge, I require no medal nor promotion. All I would ask is that you please reassign me off of subject disposal detail. Guran. It's all reacting to me. I am up to some shit. And it's an excuse to make the environment do some fun stuff over the course of the game. Reacts to magic. We're organically being introduced to all of the different spec options. Is robes just a separate category? No, okay. Robes and chest are the same category. 30% mana regen per second. Both torso and leg armor are replaced. This has 15. This had 12, but the leg armor was also included. So that messes with your appearance a bit. And there doesn't seem to be a staff, or they haven't given it to me yet. Ah, okay. I saw tattered documents earlier and I wanted to check in on that to see if I could have read it from my inventory. And the answer is no. Ah, okay. I was curious about that. Oh no, it's back. Okay. Weird. The top left corner has 5 arrows. And you can see here, I can spend them. But then I guess they just like come back. Like after I put it away or something. Yeah, there they are. I don't know how bows are how arrows are regenerating, but they are. Thank you, whoever weirdly left these useful items everywhere. You made some strange choices. Even more mana regen. The 5% I get natively is getting reduced in significance very quickly. Hi. No. Oh, that's got a cooldown. That's a long cooldown. I needed like a second ability or something. Because that one alone takes a very long time to be usable again. The mana regen is not the primary limitation. A staff. 9 fire damage, 8 burning damage over 3 seconds. 17 damage overall. Very strong. Makes me think it's probably slow. Oh yeah, because you're firing magic around.
Completely covered the tunnel. Maybe
That
you
is
could
fine,
use
though.
that staff to burn a path through.
His head turned around 180 degrees. Why do you sound so... Are you the voice actor that played the villain of Fallout 1? Am I calling that right now? Tear yourselves apart! Like that. I don't know, I'm hearing him shout a lot, and I'm like, this sounds weirdly familiar, and I'm wondering...
Spiders, burn them! Burn them!
I think that's also the voice actor of Winnie the Pooh? Winner the Pool? Winnie the Pooh? I want to check, but I'm busy. Oh, hello. Guy sneaking up on me. Maybe I need to make the camera pan out more. Oh, it actually does zoom out during combat, doesn't it? Shoop. I think I didn't recognize him as much until he started yelling a lot. I imagine when we get out of this intro, I'll spend less time in this menu. This is a nice look. I like this look. Sufficiently douchily elf. Ooh, that cape, though, from the back. That weird rectangle cape that looks like a flag. It looks a lot better up from the front than the back. Forget hide helm. Where's my hide cape option? Does everything defeat that web, or does that incentivize... Does that require me to equip the fire staff? It would make sense in context. That last attack's an AoE. That guy was sneaking up on me and he got taken out. I was all hammering my dodge button, trying to get out the moment the attack finished. And it did an explosion and took him right out before I had to deal with anything. Boyfriend.
Get alive! And who's this? That's what I intend to find out.
I'm the corpse looter.
He came out of the well.
What? Then he'd better get inside to see the old man. Quick, before those Tuatha make another push.
This is where we part ways. But take whatever you want from this armory. We might have a few things that would fit you. Just make sure you get your shoes. We can hold off the Tuatha here.
Can you, though? I need more help, 95%. I can fight with you.
We can't risk you getting killed. You're proof that the well can work. Don't you realize what that means? Just keep going past the top of the well. Hughes will be there in his study. I'll see you on the outside.
I'll see you in hell. Start taking them all out. I actually don't know if that kind of friendly fire is available. This might not be the best time to test it.
No more.
He's not doing well.
I've got a lot of wounded gnomes to take care of.
Plate armor. Nothing protects quite like layers of impervious metal. Leather armor is thin, but will give you the speed to reach an enemy's throat. Simple cloth frees your body and mind. That's why mages prefer it.
He's just so aggressively ready to encourage everything. I'm a little confused because they already explained everything. They already like layered on this gear slowly over the course of the dungeon. I guess some of it was optional and that I could have like not found those chests, but all of it's here at the end again? It's a weird choice. I think these are all items I found before, just duplicated. Huh. Alright, let's get to this dude that wants to see me so bad. So I can be a guinea pig, I guess. It's not the best prospect, actually. Pressing R? Oh, pressing R goes into like a third-person camera mode. Specifically like the over-the-shoulder God of War style. Well, the more recent one. This is like the original God of War. I chose the least clear example to go by. Well, progress log. Experiments are now successfully recreating bodies 97.5% of the time. Any missing limbs or extra fingers are now probably how the subject looked, rather than a magical flux on our end. However, full revivification still eludes us. Even with increased testing, products are nothing more than inert lumps of skin and bone, although the occasional spasm or twitch does allow hope for full success in the future. I know some of you complain that we should use cadavers and skip the corpse recreation altogether, but you must know we'd never be allowed to experiment with the subject's actual body. We may be working to recreate life, but that hardly allows us to desecrate the dead. Any further complaints can be brought to me directly. Fulmerus Hughes. That is a little interesting. So that means that all those bodies down there, when they said that wasn't their original bodies anyway, because there wasn't really a they yet. They're essentially just creating brain dead bodies over and over again because the soul isn't attaching. They're just like successfully cloning corpses and then disposing of them over and over again. And I'm the first to go further. But do I know anything about who I was? I don't think he does. So it doesn't seem like it's really fully accomplishing the goal. But I am walking around.
You've made it, and look at you. Even with all you've been through. The Tuatha, your return from the dead. Please forgive me. You must be terribly confused by all of this. I am Fulmerus Hughes, and this is my laboratory at Alistar. Everything you see here is dedicated to one thing, the Well of Souls, the pursuit of immortality. And you're my first success. If we only had the time, there's so much we might learn from one another.
My death.
I wish I could tell you more, but your death is a mystery to me as well. It seems that your memory died with your body. You see, the well is designed to capture the soul of someone recently deceased, recreating their physical form within its waters. Simple, really. Your rebirth is the first we might truly call a success. There have been others, but the results weren't quite right.
The Well of Souls.
It's been my life's work. Decades of research with a singular goal, ending death itself. And now, you're the only proof that it's a success. But why did it work on you and no one else? What makes you different from the others? There are so many questions to ask, and if we're to get any answers, we've got to get you someplace safe.
You've really chosen to pursue a famously low consequences, low risk field. And nothing bad's gonna go here. Fulmerus Hughes.
I am Fulmerus Hughes, scholar of vivification prime circle. We're standing above my life's work, the Well of Souls. There's so much to learn about you, though. I imagine it's all a bit muddled. A side effect of the prismere? Shape of the basin? No. If only we had more time.
Why is there like a blue heart on the right side of the screen? That's the one I'm least clear on. Attackers.
You don't know. They're called the Tuatha. They were once Fey folk of the Winter Court, but they've been twisted by their lord Gadflow. But how could they have found us out here? We're miles away from the front lines. The war has never touched Dalantarth. And why attack the well?
Well, he probably thinks you're trying to create an army. That's like the first thing that came to mind for me. Fae.
The Fae are complicated. I could write 10 volumes on the effects of immortality on their pseudo-feudal court system alone.
Well, you're trying to make everyone else immortal in a way. What's going on?
Too much to explain right now. The Tuatha have come to stop my work, but I don't believe they know about you. Not yet. What's important is getting you out of here safely. You're the only proof of what we've achieved here. I may not be able to save the well, but I can ensure that its only success is safe.
Where are we?
We're in the Faelands, miles away from the front lines. I thought we were safe enough from the war.
But it seems some of the Tuatha found their way here anyway.
So let's get out of here.
Yes, you're right. I've got my notes, but it's most important that you stay safe. It's just that you're... Wait, fascinating. Simply astounding. I'm not certain what's caused it, but somehow... yes, as I was saying, I'm not sure what... Perhaps I should go see.
Sir! Mr. Hughes! The Tuatha have breached the lab! They're inside the...
No! We've got to get you out of here now! Quickly! Follow the path to the town of Gorhart. Find Agath. He's a friend, and he may be able to help. No matter what else, stay alive!
They just like let him pass, basically. Well, it's lucky those rocks collapsed. Although, if he was counting on that, he should have just come with me. Because it seems like the doorway was going to take care of itself. Weirdly enough, I guess we're not going to hear any more from Winnie the Pooh if that was him. Unless they start 3D printing more people, I guess. Which the chances are looking not great. Yeah, I guess this is an applicable time to go ahead and run. Hello. Bad news. Jeez. Does so much more damage than everything else I was doing. Or not. Yeah, some rapid switching. Why aren't you guys running? Don't you value not dying? Things seem pretty bad right now. They're just like hanging out. Looting 5 feet away from rocks, trying to collapse on their heads.
Get moving, you brute! Tear this tower apart!
I guess I just hurried things along a bit for them. Oh, what is that? Yo! It's a rock troll. Ow. Jeez. I gotta be careful, it's a very long... and oh, jeez. Okay. He's got a few tricks and some very long range attacks. That's, alright, A works during combat too. Definitely could use some lock on. Oop. With the camera, not the arrows. Oop. The troll. The troll. The troll is on fire. Did that track me? I think it did. That was rude. Dude, the magic regen is out of control. I can cast again pretty quickly. It's bad news for you. Is it a QTE? Oh, there it is. I could still keep mashing it after he'd already thrown it. So mash X to get double experience, apparently. You can see the Fable and BioWare and God of War inspirations all on its sleeve. God of War was heavy with the QTE finishers against boss fights before that became like a more or less universal thing by comparison. I think that was more their fault. Alright. 5 health ring, why not? So is my health gonna heal on its own? Trying to keep an eye on it without blinking. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it. Well, Missed that by moments, didn't I? Poor guy was right here. You literally made it outside and died. How? That's why they say not to run outdoors during earthquakes. You're at risk of having stuff fall on you, I guess. Time for the level up experience. This is like, we've been pausing a lot so far. Oh, goodness. Busy screen. Okay. No, okay, no, it's not so bad. It's actually very much the Mass Effect 1 sort of layout where every row is a different skill and you go left or right. It gets higher and higher the deeper you go, and getting really deep down the tree is kind of level bound. So this is familiar enough. Let's see. Sagecraft. Better quality shards drop more frequently. Oh, so those are the skills I started with. I started with 1, 1, 2. So people are, have less sight range against me. Increased duration of time I can remain hidden before people notice me. Shards drop frequently. Bribe costs for crime are decreased by 20%. Increases your chance to persuade others to your way of thinking. I mean, persuasion's always nice to have. Dispelling. Decreases difficulty when dispelling magical wards. These do seem to very specifically not be combat skills, is what I'm noticing. So that's worth questioning. This seems in character-ish. If I'm going to be all spellcasty, I should probably know how to dispel wards, however often that comes up. In fact, this is very Mass Effect. Left to right pips, and then certain ones have symbols on them to indicate that you get a new skill there. Yeah. It's the one where all of the ones left to right do the same, all the blank ones do the same thing. It's just a level up of that one effect over and over again. So every blank one will make the difficulty of dispelling magical wards easier. But then when you reach each symbol, you get a perk, which is the difference. Okay, so, okay, here's combat then. Things are pretty familiar so far. Arcane weaponry. Unlocks charged special attacks for the staff and chakrams. Reduces scepter costs to 5% of your maximum mana instead of 6. Is next level. Long hours of study and practice enable you to wield the scepters very effectively. 2 physical damage and 5% damage with scepters. Let's see. Scepter normally... Does the scepter normally cost mana? I guess it's different from a staff, so I've never had a scepter yet. Charged entropy. Hold and release the staff attack to damage surrounding enemies. Maelstrom, hold and release chakrams. There's the staff. So more physical damage. I want spellcasting though. That's my priority. Oh, you goofy game. I can't press down to go to it from either of these. And if I could, and I can't... So if I want to get to that lightning bolt on the bottom, I need to go right, up, left, down. Okay. Attach a burst of electrical energy which deals lightning and shocking damage. Tell me I get chain lightning. All right, well that's all I want. Let's go get it. Chain lightning, my favorite spell in any game. Okay, so make it do a bit more damage basically. I could just dive in, just be like, what if it was like 1 billion damage and I just completely ruin things and before long I can't, like, survive. I want to try the other weapons first to figure out which one I would prefer, because there's too many different weapons. So let's invest in this and I'll work my way to the next tier and eventually chain lightning, but there's a whole other tier to get first. But I might have got myself a little trouble, because how much mana do I have? 59. So, if I'm not careful, I can make it pretty expensive to cast that spell. No regions found, so I immediately failed. So my chance of successfully retrieving plants is affected by my alchemy skill. What I need is a skill that makes my attack cone larger for breaking barrels. That guy dead? I think he's dead. Looks like things are a bit worse out here than I thought. There just is one conspicuous corpse up there, but plenty of people down here. I think that's all I'm getting out of him.
Another survivor? But I've never seen you in the tower. Were you one of the professor's assistants in the downstairs projects? Did he escape with you?
No. Can we bring him back?
Not without the well, we can't. This is the only one, and the Tuatha were tearing it apart. Hughes is the only one who understands how it worked.
Alistair.
Alistair is remote enough that we don't get a lot of visitors. And with our research, fewer visitors means fewer questions.
Fate Weaver.
Oh, you mean Agarth? He visits Hughes every once in a while. I never could figure out why they got along. He's friendly enough, if a bit odd. You should be able to find him in Gorhart, just down the road, past the ruins. You can't miss it. We all knew Fomerus was a genius, but I'll admit, even I had my doubts about him being able to bring the dead back to life. Guess the Tuatha weren't very pleased that it worked.
Tuatha.
I just don't understand the Tuatha. I mean, most Fae aren't violent. The wild ones can be, but no more than any forest animal. But the Tuatha are some sort of cult among the Winter Fae. Before they invaded Erethel, no one could have imagined the Fae ever marching to war.
Well of Souls.
Brilliant idea, the Well of Souls. Plucks dead people out of the ether, rebuilds their body, and brings them back to life. At least that's what it was supposed to do. Guess we'll never know if it worked now. We should be safe here. At least a little longer.
I saw you fighting there. We could have used more of you. Did they really have a troll?
Had. It was no problem.
Not for you, maybe. But I lost good soldiers in there. They were battle-hardened and wielding the best Tedescan steel. How could you do better than them with just rags and rubbish?
Magic? I thought that was self-explanatory. Trolls.
They're technically a type of wild fae. Related to the fae of the summer and winter courts, actually. Dangerous enough in the wild. The Tuatha also use them in their army.
I don't think I need to ask all the same questions right away.
Good luck out there.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost walked right past you guys thinking you were just these guys, basically. Just kind of like crowds of injured... In fact, you look... Wait, is that the same guy? I think the answer is yes. I think that's the same character twice. So I was extra not wrong to be thinking that. I think they used his character model. I don't think he's gonna come up much then. I think he was just two little chances to get almost the same narration. Just fishing? Oh no, it's just leather armor that's making ripples somehow. Wow, I'm just going at it. You made this? I made this. I'm digging the color. The Shrine of Mithros. Shrines confer temporary bonuses. Different deities will confer different bonuses to your character. What was the bonus? Status. Didn't I say status? Yeah, status. These are explanations. I wanted status. Do you not know the difference, game? What? Oh, wait. Why? I'm confused why that would happen. Oh well. I guess I'll never know what that effect was. What is that little guy? Look at him. Tell me a joke. Tell me a joke. Tell me a joke. What are you, little guy? What the hell? He's just randomly here? He doesn't move? What is that guy's deal? Okay. Wasn't... Tell me a joke is the prompt. I'm really good at not finding things so far. Hopefully I don't need it that badly. Oh, I think that's the person that's in danger. You like my chain lightning? Wait, ooh, he's got a weirdly raccoon face or something? What's going on with your face? Oh, his face is weird for a bear. Oh! Rude. Berry eater. Oh, is it kind of floating? No, he's just got...
I remember you. You're the one? How did you come back? How did you find me here?
Well, I came out the front door and you were yelling, "Ah, help me!" And that kind of did most of the work for me, honestly. What are you doing out here?
When I saw you with Edsel in the well, I ran. But it wasn't because I was afraid. I was coming to report that Hughes's experiment had succeeded. The Well of Souls is bigger than just one gnome's pet project. My contact pays well for information about its progress. I just send reports to make some money on the side. But I don't know how the Tuatha found out. This has nothing to do with them. I never wanted anyone to get hurt.
I think that you might be the entire reason that this happened. You might have not known that, but it's you. I don't know if you can so confidently say your spying wasn't secretly for the Tuatha without you knowing it. Who'd you report to?
I promise you, if I knew who it was, I'd tell you. Sharing research is one thing, but academic sabotage is a crime.
Just get out of here, now.
Thank you, thank you. Here, take this. It's the pay for my last report. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going back home to Odessa.
Yeah, it's probably his fault. I'm not about to, like, murder him over his fuck-up, but it's probably his fault that all of this happened. Alright, so begins our adventure in Amalur. A thing I always have to remind myself to pronounce and spell with a U, because I always get it wrong. I'll see you guys next time as we journey forth into this colorful place where my magic is overpowered.